buses. I've been involved with buses since I was a kid. I was a bit of an anorak, but I'd like to think I've put that away now, a bit of a bus spotter. I worked as a coach driver for many years and as a bus driver for many years before that. Now I run Harbour bus. It's a little bit different, a little bit special. It's geared up mainly for use by Christians and ministries and missions. Like today when we're in Ypres taking Christian Vision for Men on a grand day out. I've been a Christian since I was 17, it's a lot of years. And I think like most people, prayer has always been a struggle. It's always been an issue. And I believe in these days, most men feel that way. And they actually think prayer is something best left for the girls or the experts. But there is no experts in prayer. And believe it or not, I don't think there's that many experts in things like evangelism. It's just something we're all called to do. And if prayer is everything the Bible says it is, if prayer can shape nations, if prayer can change events every day in people's lives, it's probably no surprise that it's the most contested area of our life, spiritually. Because if the enemy can stop us praying, he's cut off the lines of communication and makes us ineffective as Christians. I'm not going to sit here and claim to be an expert in prayer and that I'm some super spiritual person. I'm just a guy like any other guys. But I do recognise the need to get us back to prayer. And I do recognise the need that the hope for our nation is when we get on the knees and start to take responsibility and start praying. We've done a good few pilot projects in the London area. One particular one we did in London recently went quite well. I've got to be honest, the plan we had for the day went well. But on our way out of London, we were going back to Folkestone, we hit a major problem with the traffic. So bad that it set us back several hours and I had to park up for 45 minutes to take my legal break. I was feeling that it was all a failure because we hadn't gone to plan. But then we set off again and we encountered a second problem on the M2, which means we got to sit still on the motorway for another half an hour. One thing led to another and we ended up on the hard shoulder. And I felt lower and lower, thinking my plans for this venture had failed. Eventually I spoke to a police officer and quizzed him about everything that had been going wrong, the traffic incidents. And he asked me why I was so interested. In reply, I said, I've got people on the coach who want to pray for you and pray for what's going on here. Which he graciously said, sit on the hard shoulder and do whatever you like for as long as you like and pray for what's going on. I still felt bad, but then one of my passengers reminded me that this is a prayer adventure and we were the only Christians on the spot at the time to pray for some people who were critically injured. So that was all part of the adventure. We have our plans and God has his plans. So we're set out to do what we think is the right thing. But if you come on one of our prayer adventures and it changes tack or we get delayed or something happens that is adventurous, we're not going to apologise for that. That's just God taking control. The reason I got this particular coach is that internally it's a little bit different. It's not a standard coach. It's got less seats and more tables. And the reason we wanted them seated at a table was that they could interact in small groups of 4 and 8 people. And the main reason we want them to do that is so that they can pray. Alongside Harbour Bus, we run something called Prayer Adventures. There's not enough people praying. And if I'm talking to men, I'm going to say, men, it's not a girly job, it's a man's job. Read your Psalms, find out what King David did. He prayed for his nation. He prayed for the people and he changed things. We want men especially to learn how to pray for their nation again and for the important issues. And it's a bit gimmicky, but we can do that. If you come on one of our prayer adventures, say to London, we will take you to Canary Wharf like you would a tour coach, but you will be praying for the bankers. If you want to pray for the nations, we'll take you to the embassy. We will take you to the places that matter. We will have somebody who's well informed about the subject, tell you about all the issues, and then you will call upon God and pray for those issues. And that's the main reason we operate this particular coach, so that you can get together and do your praying and learn again how to call on God to change a nation.